I probably will do a few cooking videos here on our channel. You know, I always kind of think, well, how much butter should I put in? And then I double it. Oh, butter is just magic. In my mind, it is heavenly. You can trust my cooking tips based on the fact that I'm over, I'd like to say just slightly over the recommended weight for my, age and height. And so that's just one evidence that the cooking is good. I do love to cook, and we're gonna have some fun. We've got some special friends over today. Let's see how we can get this lighting right. They're both celiac, and so they can't have gluten, which comes from wheat and barley, and so I'm making gluten-free crepes. And so making things gluten-free is tricky because the gluten is what gives all the elasticity. The gluten is like the rubber in our recipes. Anyway, it's what gives everything its nice, tender, and stretchy, that makes our bread so. And so I'm using a biscuit blend that my wife Tammy makes. And so I just thought I would tell you some of the tricks to making gluten-free crepes. So I make a lot of crepes, most of them not gluten-free. And so whatever gluten-free flour blend that you use to make gluten-free crepes, I use half. I use half the amount of flour that I would use of regular flour. This is the biscuit blend. And so I'll give you the basic ratios of how I make crepes. So here's these beautiful crepes coming off. I'm a farmer, so I just pick them up with my hands and then slide them onto the pile. But so on this blend, and this one's actually worked out better than most that I've done. Just the consistency has been really nice. And then I run 2 pans at a time and then I just keep rotating them because each burner has a little bit different heat pattern and it keeps my pans a little more evenly heated. Anyway, so I put the flour in first, 1 cup of flour, and then I add my 3 cups of milk and just blend that up really nice and smooth. And the thing with all gluten-free blends of flour that I've ever used is they absorb way more liquid than regular flour. And so you might think, whoa, this is way too runny. Just leave it. Then you can put your sugar in. So a little bit, a third of a cup of sugar, and 6 eggs, which may seem like a lot of eggs, but you just put them in there, 6 eggs, and then just a little less than a half a cup of melted butter. Oh, butter is just magic. In my mind, it is heavenly. And then a little bit of vanilla, a couple teaspoons of vanilla, and blend that all up. Or I just use a whisk, just whisk it all up nicely. And I like to spray my first pan. For the first crepe. But then after that, you have enough butter in this recipe that you don't have to add any canola oil or anything to the pan, or olive oil. The butter will definitely grease the pan. But anyway, they turn out amazing. They taste fantastic, and we'll show you them in a little bit. When you're running 2 pans, it's steady. Like as fast as you can pour the next one, the other one is ready. And so it's definitely a 2-handed job, and I don't have a stand here. Oh, I should be showing you. I just dump it on there and then, you swirl the pan around. And so flip it over, slide it off. Slide the next one over, load it up. It's just very quick. I can make about 100 crepes in an hour if I'm doing a big event. We did one a few weeks back for a church function, and what did I make? I made a couple hundred. Oh yeah, I just made 200 for that evening. And that worked out well. So it just takes a couple hours. If whatever I used the first couple times I tried doing big events, we tried cooking the crepes ahead of time and then like freezing them. And that was a bit of a nightmare. Well, not a bit of a nightmare, it was a nightmare. So what we found, what I do now is whatever the event is, I cook them that day. And I wrap, as I'm cooking them, I put them in stacks of 50. I wrap them in foil, usually double wrap them in foil and put them in a cooler. And as you put those multiple stacks in the cooler, they stay hot for a long time. And so then they're all still nice and hot. Oh, beautiful. For the event. And then you just keep them in the cooler and pull the stacks out and serve them, you know, in stacks of 50. Usually the biggest things that people like that get used is the strawberries and the bananas and the Nutella and the whipped cream, and then my special magical brown butter syrup. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to make the most amazing syrup that I've ever tasted. It's just equal parts of butter, cream, heavy whipping cream, and sugar. Easy to remember. It's just the magic is how they're put together. And then I usually squeeze 1 lime or a half of a lemon into a medium-sized batch. If I'm doing a bigger batch, I'll put in 2 limes. Like if I was doing 2 cups, I would do 2 limes and a full lemon. And that's at the end, just to give it a bit of a citrusy taste. So this is a creamy, caramely brown butter syrup with then this amazing lime citrus kick at the end. And so the butter is melting. I'll take it out here and we'll put it in the pan. So we've got the melted butter, and then we are gonna brown the butter. And like butter is heavenly, and then when you brown it, it is devilishly good, unbelievably good. So brown butter we use for a lot of things. We love, it's where we first got into it was with our wonderful friends that taught us how to make it and use it for lobster. So crab and lobster, it is just, it makes you weak in the knees when you use brown butter instead of just melted butter. Some people use it on popcorn, and it just has this wonderful caramely, nutty taste. And all you do is just brown the butter, and I'll show you how to do that. And then on any kind of, like on a baked potato, on spinach, on any vegetables, you put brown butter on it, and it's just a totally different level of amazing. But because of the caramely kind of taste that it has, when you add sugar, it is like candy. And my brother and I accidentally discovered it when we were trying to make a caramel sauce in Hawaii, because there's all this fresh fruit there. And we thought we need to like caramelize, you know, for the bananas and the pineapple and all that stuff. And so we browned the butter because we had discovered that. And then we wanted to sweeten it. So we browned the butter, and then we poured in the sugar, and we have it on the pan, and it's boiling and it's getting darker and it's gonna burn. And the sugar did not dissolve. Like sugar does not dissolve in oil. And so we didn't know what to do. It was gonna burn. And so we frantically reached into the fridge. We said, oh, there's milk, and we dumped some milk in it. and then the sugar dissolved, and it became this amazing caramel sauce. We of course since discovered that the more fat it has in it, the better. And so milk doesn't stay in as an emulsion as well. And so using, 35% or more milk fat, like so heavy whipping cream. Oh, just makes me want to cry when I think about it. So that's what you do. Now we'll do the process. Okay, so when I brown butter, I'm on power boil. The highest temperature possible. It goes very, very fast. But you have to be on it. Okay, so I've got the melted butter, and now I'm just boiling it. And there's lots of steam you can see at the beginning. And then you just keep stirring it. I like to use a whisk that has an angled head, because that steam is very hot on your hand. And so to be able to be on the side is very nice. My hand is not in the steam. And so it's amazing. It goes through some stages here, but you're boiling all the water out of the butter. And so as you keep going, all of a sudden the steam will start to thin, and then it'll stop, because all you'll have left is butter, the milk fat, and the milk solids. So the steam is starting to lighten up. It starts to bubble a little bit differently. Yeah, look at that. There's almost no steam left. And that's boiling like crazy there, but there's no steam. Now look at it's changing color. Woo! So I stirred a lot so I could see the color. Now it's turning, so you got to get it off the heat, and then you got to add the cream and the sugar, which we'll do right now. Okay, so when you add the cream, it really boils up. And so that's why I like to have a little bit of room in the pan to handle the boil up of the cream. And then we'll add the sugar, and then after we add the sugar, we will bring it to a boil one more time, and that helps it to stay combined, the oils, so that the butter oils do not separate from the cream. It's always important that I bring it to a boil again. So now I'm gonna add the sugar. All right, so we've made the brown butter syrup. I double boiled it basically. I boiled the butter till it was brown, then I added the cream and sugar in equal parts, and then I brought it back to a boil. Now I'm going to use Tammy's fancy lemon squeezer. One of the things that's complicated about dealing with lemons is they always have seeds, or almost always they have seeds. And so this lemon squeezer has 2 layers inside. And so your seeds stay with the peel, and then the juice and no seeds go into the little tray, and it has a nice little pour spout. Anyway, and you kind of put it in the opposite of what you would think. You would think, based on the shape of that you would put it face up. But of course, if you do that, the juice is just gonna squeeze all out the side and not go where it wants. So you put it in upside down, and then when you squeeze it, it actually turns that lemon inside out, or that lime, the half of the lime or half of the lemon. No seeds get in there, and then you just pour the juice out. This one is fantastic. I don't know, this one is a KitchenAid, and highly recommend it. Shocking good. So then this will be, we're doing a lemon version instead of a lime version this time. And it is, shocking good. This is a very simple cutting device that Tammy loves. Gadgets, rice cookers. Instead of using a pan on the stove, gotta have a secondary thing. Drives me crazy. But that's part of marriage and life. But this little unit here is a strawberry slicer. And we've had a couple different kinds. This one looks like it's made by I don't know what that is. Chef'n. Anyway, I don't know if you can order them online, but you put your strawberry in there and pop, it comes out the other side, and it is just so amazingly fast, and you just throw it in the dishwasher. So not like trying to clean up a food processor, and kids love it, and they actually shoot out of there. Like it's pressure, 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 and then pop. And so it's like a strawberry slice shooter. I mean, little kids, it does take a little bit of work to push it through so their hands aren't quite strong enough. But as soon as they get big enough to squeeze it, they love slicing the strawberries. Great little device. It's a little bit bulky, as you can see. And so it kind of hurts my heart to have one of these in a drawer taking up all that space. But this one actually works well enough and cleans easily that I do recommend the strawberry shooter. All right. Thanks for coming along.